So I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to do during our Warbonnet training cycle. It's a climb cycle, and we're going to work on some specific fitness attributes for climbers over the course of the 6-week cycle. And I want to explain how isolating fitness attributes is a different approach and how it can be an effective approach at improving your climb performance. So if you kind of look at what it takes to be a climber and how you can train to be a climber, there's a base fitness aspect to it. So the fitness attributes that you need to have as a climber to perform, whether or not you're sport climbing or trad, it doesn't matter. You have to have strength, you have to have a certain amount of work capacity, and I'm talking about grip specific strength, grip work capacity, okay, climb work capacity, climb endurance, power endurance, and then also durability in order to come back year after year, season after season, even to an extent day after day without injury. These 6 components comprise base fitness for a climber, the fitness attributes that you should have at any one point in the year. Above that, once you establish these, then you kind of move into sport-specific climbing. This could be working on improving your bouldering by a certain number of grades, or improving some measure of your bouldering by a certain number of grades. It could also be projecting on a different apparatus a certain route that you want to send. And then finally, up here at the top is your actual performance or your actual execution of that project. Now, whenever you break these down, your base endurance is best done in a gym or a rock gym. Your sport-specific fitness can be built in the gym, but in terms of actually projecting something or pushing your climbing, experiencing going from like a 5'10" to a 5'11" or something like that, that happens at the crag. The gym, a rock gym, isn't actually a very good measure of your climb strength because it's plastic holds, very controlled environment. Only on the crag are you really going to have that exact experience where you have to clip in the same way, and all of those aspects are exactly the same. So these things are really efficiently done in the gym. This is really efficiently done out on the crag. Now, with our Warbonnet training cycle, it is essentially, because of where we are in the climb season with climbers, it is essentially a base fitness training cycle. And we're going to train specifically strength, work capacity, and some power. There's a little bit more emphasis on strength and work capacity, but it's still important now to get some good reps in, to develop some power, and complement that strength. The more strength you have, then the more power you're going to be able to generate. Strength is simply the amount of work that you can do. Power is work that you can do over time. So the more work you can do, then for the same amount of time, if you can do more work, then you're going to generate more power. That's true in all things. One of the things that we're going to do in this Warbonnet cycle is use an assessment, because when you use an assessment, you show what you can do. You show what an athlete can do. Now, it's very possible that you could have a 5'13" and a 5'8" climber in the same session. So how does the training meet both of those athletes where they are with an assessment? If you assess an athlete on these different fitness attributes, then you can use those results to cater individually, scale individually the session or the training cycle to that individual. So if we take a step back and look at training in general, then what we see is typically that in most sports you will go through a base period phase, and then you will move into a sport specific phase, and then you'll move into your technical practice or your actual performance. If you think about a football player. A football player is going to spend a lot of time in the gym in the off season, and then as the season nears, then their lifting is going to change, become more sport specific, but they're also going to head on the field, do some sprint work, do some skill development on the field, and then here in season they're actually going to be practicing, and of course they'll continue their skill work, but it's going to be on the field. A climber can really work the same way, but there isn't a big tradition of this in climbing. Increasingly it's becoming so, but there isn't a lot out there that allows you to isolate these individual components and then actually train them specifically. Now there are some apparatuses that exist that allow you to do that, but there isn't necessarily the programming that allows you to connect that apparatus with the fitness attribute. That is part of what we're looking to do here, starting with this Warbonnet training cycle. We've been doing it for years, but we're opening it up a little bit more in this first training cycle. Now, in climbing, the apparatus is really important. And if you look at this simple equation, it's simply fitness attributes plus the apparatus plus the training or the fitness program that you're doing equals your performance. Okay, so apparatus is particularly important for climbing because you need certain holds. You have to have certain angles of boards or boulder problems. All those different things, you need to have those apparatus in order to mimic what you're going to need to train for your performance. So in terms of this whole equation, this fitness attribute is what you're training, the training is how you're training the fitness attribute, and the apparatus is what links these two things together. Okay? And then when all of those three things are combined, then you get performance. Now there are some great apparatus out there that allow you to train different things. Moon boards are excellent. Hitch strips are excellent. All of the different grip systems or hold systems out there, Nicros, Matoles, all of those are great. What a lot of climb programs are missing is the isolation of the fitness attributes and then the connection of the apparatus with how to actually train it, how to train strength or how to train power, how to train work capacity in isolation to bring that fitness attribute up. Now you also have to be able to combine those together. That's sort of that's beyond the scale of what we're talking about right now, but just in terms of how those things are linked, that's what this is what we're looking to do. We've picked our fitness attributes, we're gonna do strength, work capacity, and power. We know the apparatus that we're going to train them on, and then finally we understand how we're going to train them. A big part of this is that assessment, because this training needs to be scaled to the individual. So in this training is going to be embedded with essentially an individual code that will allow each individual, no matter of their strength, to train to their ability, rather than having the training far exceed some people's ability or be far easier or far too easy for others. So this is sort of an overview of the way that we're thinking about this Warbonnet training cycle and the approach that we're taking, and then also what we're looking to train specifically.